Quran in the amazing Surah Yusuf itself. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our endeavors. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive any mistakes that we make. So I hope and I pray that it will take about 20 to 25 minutes. So you will hear me for about 20 or 25 minutes, the remaining of the story. And then after the story ends, like last week, we had some wonderful questions. So if there are any questions, inshallah ta'ala, to the best of our ability, we will try to answer them. At the end, we will do a dua for Allah's acceptance. We will ask Allah to accept our i'tikaf in the house of Allah this evening. And then please do not leave except without eating. So please do go to the kitchen after the program has finished. Eat together. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put barakah in your rizq. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Where are we with the story? We are at the place in the story where Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam is in prison. You will remember that he chose to go into prison because of the advances of the minister's wife where he was staying, who tried to seduce him. We talked about this part of the story last week. What we said is that Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam was faced with the lesser of two evils. That on the one hand, he was offered prison. On the other hand, he was offered to stay in the minister's wife's house, which would lead to fitna, which would perhaps to lead to haram behavior. So he chose what we call akhafud darar. Akhafud darar means the lightest of the two pains. So he decided it would be better for me to go into prison. There he met two youngsters. Both of them had dreams. Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam told the interpretation of both dreams. One of them had a dream that he was pouring wine. Yusuf alayhi salam told him that the interpretation of this dream is that when you leave prison, you will work in the king's palace and you will be pouring wine for him. You will be serving the king. The other child in the prison said to Yusuf alayhi salam that I see bread on my head. I see roti on my head, khubz. What is the ta'bir of that? Yusuf alayhi salam said, unfortunately, when you leave prison, you will be killed, you will be crucified, you will be put on a salb, and your body will decompose, and eventually birds will start eating from the top of your head, from all over your body as it decomposes. Yusuf alayhi salam, as he left these two youth behind, when he spoke to them, he spoke to the one he knew that would escape prison and would serve the king later in the palace. He said, please remember me in front of the king. Meri safarish karna, please. Yusuf told this child, he said, when you leave the prison, please mention me in front of the king. This is where we left the story. This child, he forgot to mention anything about Yusuf in the presence of the king. فَلَبِسَ فِي السِّجْنِ بِضْعَ سِنِينَ. So as a result, Yusuf alayhi salam ended up spending even more time in prison. Now we start the story, and we start the story with the king of Egypt. The king of Egypt one morning woke up. And when he woke up, he told all of his ministers and all of his close associates that last night I saw a horrible nightmare. I want to know the meaning of this. तो मलिक जुहैना राय मलिक मिस्र उसने एक ख्वाब देखा था, डरानी ख्वाब. सुबह के वक्त उन्होंने अपने वज़रा को कहा है कि मुझे इस ख्वाब की ताबीर चाहिए. This king actually was so rich that he actually had people whose only job it was to interpret dreams. You know, a king would have a person who looks after his body, who looks after his clothes, who makes sure he gets the regular exercise, the person in the court who looks after the food. Like that, he actually had a person who looked after when the king would see dreams. So he asked these people and said, what was the interpretation of my dream? What dream did he see? Strange one. He saw 7 thin cows, गाय. इस बादशाह ने क्या देखा ख्वाब में? एक पतले पतले गाय थे, 7. What were they doing, these 7 very thin cows? Allahu Akbar. They were eating massive fat obese cows. वो उसको खा रहे थे. ये जो गाय थे ना पतले पतले वाले, वो बड़े बड़े मोटे मोटे गाय को खा रहे थे. So in his dreams, he saw that 7 thin cows were eating 7 fat cows. Then he saw some corn, what we call ears of corn. You know those corn, he saw 2 pairs. One of them was completely green and beautiful. The other was completely dry. This is what the king saw in his dream. In the morning, he was very pareshan. He said, I need to know what this dream meant. What did the experts say, the dream experts? قَالُوا أَدْغَاسُ أَحْلَامٍ بَلْ قَالُوا أَدْغَاسُ أَحْلَامٍ. Sorry, these are very strange and detailed dreams that we don't know the meaning of. हम इसकी ताबीर नहीं जानते हैं. We don't know how to explain this. وَمَا نَحْنُ بِتَأْوِيلِ الْأَحْلَامِ بِعَالِمِينَ. We can't interpret these kind of dreams. One thing I do like about this story, about this part of the story is that when these experts were told by their king, tell us the meaning of the dream, they accepted and acknowledged their own ignorance and simply said, I don't know. ये भी बड़ी खूबी की बात है कि जब इन लोगों को पूछा गया कि इस ख्वाब की ताबीर क्या है, उसने सराहतन जो है ना जवाब दिया कि हम नहीं जानते हैं, बजाय कि कोई झूठ बोले, बजाय कि कोई बात बना दे. You know, I prefer it when people say that I don't know the answer.